second week of March, price action and trade review. That's Monday, March 9th to Friday, March 13th, 2026. Some levels that were salient to me were this new week open gap here. I'll change this one to pink, so there'll be a difference. There's the low and there's the high. And then we had previous week's new week open gap too, which is this low here. I'll change this one to blue, just like we have it on this place. And then we'll have the high. Here. On Monday, price traded below this low, and also this 60-day low here. I'll label that one with red. I'll label this one with red. So I'll come to this part of the chart here. This is my 1 hour time frame. Price went below this low, had this large open range gap, went below this low here on overnight. Then on Monday morning we had this large run here, and at the session open I was wanting to see price filling this gap or half of the gap. Also had open range gap from this high where the market closed to this low here where the market opened at. That's 9 a.m. 4:14. I'll change this chart here to regular trading hours. So that's this level here from this low to this high. That's the open range gap for this session. Monday's price action. I'll put on this daily divider here too. I'll take off these ones. Then I'll go to the 15. Yeah, for some reason it's not coming up. But I'll use this chart. This is Monday's price action. So Monday's price action at the open, price traded below previous session's low. That's last week's low here. There were lots of consolidation around this area. I went long here. I got stopped out a few times. Then I went long, and I partialed at this high because of the way the price action was in a consolidation. So I just took my profits. And price went further to close this gap and closed previous week's gap as well. On Tuesday, it was Tuesday's price action. I wasn't available on Tuesday. I wasn't watching the price. I'll put on my executions. No. I'll drop down to the 5 minutes. This was Monday's price action. I went long here at 9:30, and then price hit the new week open gap low for this week. That's this pink line. Retraced back. I had already moved my stop to this high because I was expecting some type of sweep below these lows, and I got stopped at break even. I entered the position back again impulsively. Then I went 2 contracts long here. Well, I saw something on the 5 minutes that made me close the position, but I went back in. Lots of shoppiness here. So when price had this high, I took my positions here, and yeah, price kept pressing higher for the rest of the day. On Wednesday is Wednesday's price action. I wasn't available on Tuesday, and on Wednesday there was no open range gap here on Wednesday. So I was skeptical about doing anything, and price was also ranging. But for Wednesday's price action, I was watching this high here, and I was watching this low. There was something about this high I'd love to talk about. Let me see if I can remember it. Let me come here to the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, I was watching this high because this was the high of the day here. The current high of the day. No, this was the high of the day, and this was another high after the high of the day. So at the open of price action, I was watching to see if price would. And this was also there was also a session high here, which was this high. Okay, there's also a session high here. Since there was no open range gap for that day, I was watching for these levels. That is, this is the 00 high, the high of the day so far. Then we had the actual high of the day here. It's 13. Yeah, this was the actual high of the day here. So when price made a high of the day, I went short. But since there was no open range gap for me to frame a position around, I exited my position. But I was aiming for this low here, so I exited the trade and I wanted to just see what will happen for the rest of the session, and price just sold off. Yeah, that was nice to see. And on Thursday, we traded this Thursday's price action, this Thursday's open range gap here. So since we're consolidating on the daily time frame, I wanted to see price reach for some measure of buy side, like these buy sides above these highs here. So when we left this open range gap here with this high, I went long here, and price also took out the low of the day, so I went long here, and I went 3 contracts long because of the price action was giving me long opportunities. I was going long, then I got stopped out here, then I entered some longs here, but all these ones were break even. The price was leaning more bearish for the day Thursday, so price gave more bearish moves, but I was bullish because of the range we have in price action. So, but some signatures were tipping its hand that price might be bearish, but I wasn't looking out. I wasn't watching out for those signatures. I only saw them in hindsight. Signatures like the DXY was bullish and the rest averages were bearish. And price went to the low of the low of the current week open gap. That's the new week open gap. Then I had this pre-session run London. We had this new day open gap. This open range gap and new day open gap below price. There was a level I was looking to take partial at here. That's this level. I was watching this high here to take partial off my first position because my position on Wednesday was running in on Thursday was running in profits. I was looking for this high to be met before I take a partial. And on Friday's trading session, price action was below price, and in hindsight the bias was bearish, but I wanted to see what the open range gap would do, see if it might get to these highs here. I want to seek buy side because we're in the climate for that, and I would grade this one here, that's from this high, low to this open. So at the open of price action, price went below this gap, price went below this gap to its 25% upper half, then pressed higher to this place. So I took my partials at where I was expecting price to take a partial at for about 70 points, and price made the rotation lower. Use the first presented fair value gap around this level here. I'll drop down to the 1 minute time frame. So this was 8:30 news, made a fake high, made another high 9:30, and then there was a 10 a.m. news that sold off to this level here. So all this move was 1 hour. That was about 200 points, over 200 points. This was the first fair value after 9:30. That's this one here. Price failed to touch it here at 10:42, and then made this fall. I'll take a look at the averages and what they did. Just a snapshot. YM had the open, came all the way back up here, traded into this daily level, sold off. This one is in the crosshairs. I had ES, similar. had DXY bullish since Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, so I'd like to talk about the personal responsibilities in trading and the consciousness you have to have in execution. That is, you're not doubting yourself, you're not thinking about, you're accepting all the responsibilities in your actions. You're also aware of all your responsibilities in your personal life, because there is no distinction between what happens in your personal life and what you do in the charts. So there should be a degree of personal responsibility, consciousness in your decision making. If you're not happy about what you do when you are outside the charts, it's going to manifest itself in the charts while you are trying to do something in the charts. And I am beginning to accept more of the manipulation price does. I'm beginning to appreciate how it does what it does, like how price ran up to these levels here, and the sentiment involved in this leg down. How the price, how do you have stuck with this, or how do you have managed yourself as a beginner in this price action? Would you have pressed too hard? What level would you have trusted to stay the course of the trade to wherever your target was? Because it's not just a straight line to your target. There are lots of back and forth whiplash where you lose sight of what the market is, what you want, and you start chasing what the market is doing. So I can kind of like see that appreciation more. And I also respected my risk and my rules. I did not go beyond what I thought, or the rules I set for myself this week and session. So I'm reading off a book here, so I'm trying to paraphrase. So I respected my risk and my rules, and that is the important thing for me. And also the thoughts that go through my head after my session, I begin to be mindful of them. I have been, but these days they're more they're more screened. I don't blame myself for not being able to participate to a degree that I wish I had, and I appreciate the risks. The only clear days that I could identify was Monday's price action. Rest where either I was poorly planned or I wanted the experience from it. But I think if I had, come in with a different idea or direction, or I'd watch out for the DXY more and the averages. So I'll be watching out for that. But I'm not, like I said, I'm happy with how I performed for the week. I would share my paper trading. What's this? Balance history. So this is, I think I traded on Monday. That's 9th, yeah, Monday 9th. This was the first one that stopped me out, break even. That's this one. Then these were the ones that I saw something in the charts and I closed the position. And this was the last one I took that kind of like balanced all these ones out. So and this was Thursday's price action where I was adding 3 contracts because of the price action. I would not have taken this large of a loss because my stop placement management was, I could have managed my stop better, but this was how I wanted it because I wanted room for the price action to do what it had to do and not be too. This is not debilitating. These are not. So then this was Friday's price action with that long. And that's it for this review.